To get into college, I would say you need to get good grades, stand above your peers, and be as involved as you can in your community and things around your school. Everywhere that you can be involved, be involved.
Schools will look at your grades, they will look at your standardized test scores, and they will look at your essay and your involvement in extracurricular activities. And all those components figure into an application.
Especially with incoming ninth graders, keeping a focus on academics, because it is exciting. You're meeting a lot of new people, so there's that social pull definitely, but keeping focused on academics. But yeah, I would say getting involved in at least one activity would be helpful. Maybe it means starting your service learning early and getting involved in something that's going to last you 4 years, so that you're then showing a college, not only are you getting experience in that area, but then you're showing a college, I committed myself to something and it lasted for 4 years.
And then use your time to really develop your profile. Think about what it is that you enjoy doing. Pursue opportunities that you find interesting, and if you like it, stick with it. If you don't like it, find something else. Right? There's opportunities to kind of develop these things, so I think it's to your advantage early on in high school to develop those opportunities. Do well in school, work with your teachers, get to know them, because you're going to need letters of recommendation.
And so they're looking for a variety of students. How do I put together a dynamic learning community this first year cohort, which would also play into the returning students on campus? So that could be some regional diversity, it could be some ethnic diversity, it could be gender, and so forth.
As an individual portion of your application, your grades carry the most weight in the application process. A competitive GPA depends on where you're applying in your high school classes. Students with low GPAs can still get accepted into college. However, the higher your GPA is, the better your chances of acceptance and scholarships are. Nearly all of the students accepted at the most selective schools in the country have extraordinarily high GPAs, many of which are 4.0s, and it will pay off if your GPA is higher than a 3.5. But no school has a required GPA applicants must have in order to be considered.
I think if you're looking for sort of a black and white answer, should I take the harder classes and go for a lower GPA? You know, the more selective schools are looking for tougher courses, higher GPA. But again, I've had students who have been really intellectually curious and taken a lot of really tough courses, knowing they weren't going to do very well. Explain that in the application, and they'll be receptive to that. Mm-hmm. Again, it's that personal side.
College admissions counselors want to look and see that even though you've taken all of the requirements that you need, that they want to see that you're capable of doing more. They want to see that you're still actively, that your minds are still moving and they're still thinking about different things. And so if you take classes more than just what the requirements are, they take account into that because they see that you're dedicated and you're motivated and that you want to continue to challenge yourself even though you are there and that you're at the minimum.
I think a good general rule of thumb as a strategy is that colleges like to see students who are challenging themselves within the realm of reason and within the realm of what is realistic for them. I think something just that we talk to students about is this upward trend. So if a student, a lot of students don't start right up here. So if a student comes into our program, it's around right here and maybe middle of the road or a little below, to talk to students about this upward trend. So improving grades gradually, improving rigor gradually, because when colleges accept students or are looking at what students are going to have on their campus, they want to see this trend that's going to go like this, because obviously in the next 4 years, that will likely keep going up.
Along with grades, college admissions will look very closely at your ACT or SAT scores. Admissions departments will have no preference between either. Take the PSAT and the PLAN test, as well as practice SATs and ACTs to see which one you'll do best on. Then, dedicate yourself to studying for the exam and retake it at least once. Once you've retaken it, you only have to send your best set of scores in with your application.
ACT math tends to be tougher, and it includes a science section. Vocabulary's a little bit easier, and so it's a lot more straightforward. It has 4 sections. You don't skip around sections, and very different type of tests than the SAT, and so one's not better than the other. I just think it's important for students to see which is better for them and then really focus on one or the other. No schools are really going to differentiate.
We really recommend that students take the SAT one time at least in their junior year, so it can be kind of their jumping off point, and then their senior year, then they're able to kind of know what area they need to work on. So a student might come to us in their junior year with their SAT scores, and we'll see like, okay, you know, doing great in this area, but math is the area that we could really, you know, if you bump this score up, it could really make a difference when you're applying to college. So then focusing on setting a goal for a score, and then kind of taking it from there.
And you just simply have to know, you have to find out all the tricks of the trade and how do you take those tests. I mean, what it measures, in my opinion, is not only what you know in terms of content, but how well you can take tests. And you have to, become as efficient and strategic as possible when taking standardized tests for college.
I think that what's crucial is that you understand what they're looking for. Not so much the specific facts or information that they want you maybe to know, but that you know how to answer the questions and you know how to approach a question. And that is really only fostered by taking practice tests. So that's the best way, I think, to go into a test is knowing how to take the test, and then from there maybe the information on the test, in this case at least.
You can't make assumptions off of grades and off of SAT scores alone, like just them alone. So if you're looking at a student's application and you're just looking at their GPA, that is not a reflection of the person that they are. And so that's why having all of these different aspects in the application process is for them to read through all of them and to get a better understanding of who you are as a person.
Admissions offices at all types of schools are trending towards holistic review. This is when they consider more about you than just your GPA and test scores, but also look at your classes, grade trend, extracurriculars, writing, and many other things when reviewing your application. But keep in mind, academics are still the leading aspect of the application. Larger schools may have less time to evaluate each applicant, so they may be less holistic at times, but they're still moving in that direction. At the core of holistic review are extracurricular activities and the personal statement.
They're looking for students to fill the theater and to, be on stage, as well as, play certain sports, and great writers and scientists. So most schools are going to be looking for talents in all kinds of areas. So if you have that, it is important to let that come out. Now, if you're a well-rounded student, many schools are also looking for those types of students who are maybe leaders in their school, or they're have an interest in, and it can be very general. I mean, they've just done a lot of activities, so they're the type of student who's going to be involved in the college once they get there.
I mean, and I believe this for college, I believe this for life, but the experience you have is what you put into it. So you're going to have a richer, fuller experience the more you get involved and put effort into everything that you're trying. If you do the minimum and sort of just squeak by doing that, you're not going to have as rich of an experience, and you're not going to be as exposed to as much as you would be if you tried new things. Part of this age and preparing for life is taking risks and challenging yourself, and clubs and new sports and activities are a way to grow as a person beyond what you might be growing, how you might be growing academically.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot for them to see that you're involved with different things. Maybe not say like a whole bunch of things. Like, I guess the more the better. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole bunch of things. It could be just maybe one or two things, but that you're actually involved with them, and that you're actually making a difference, and that it's helping you, giving you some kind of skills. Because at the end, it's not necessarily what you're doing, but it's like what are the skills that you're taking out of it that are going to help you become a better person or a better student or a better employee in the future. So.